Well, you could be forgiven for thinking that I'd forgotten about these two, but I haven't. I just decided to put a 10-part series in between part two of this and part three. So it's been a few weeks, but this is where we were. Still quite a bit of work to do on the red one. Not sure about the wheels, still yet to lacquer it. The purple one's pretty much done. I still felt like the wheels needed a little bit of something doing to them. Not the wheels themselves are fine, just they could do with just being gone over a little bit more. So this is Tamiya clear lacquer in an aerosol. I thought this might be a worthwhile investment. I mean, I tend to rely pretty much on my little fleet of, well, I say fleet, there's 2 airbrushes to do everything, including lacquer. But it's always good to have a backup. You never know when your airbrush is going to go down or go missing, like one of mine did for about 3 weeks. You might suddenly find that you can't charge it, or you can't get hold of any propellant or whatever. Airbrushes are dependent on something, whereas an aerosol is a nice self-contained thing. Anyway, I was tempted to try it out. I was expecting it to be pretty good, and I wasn't wrong. It is very good. It does give you a really good shine. You just put it on exactly like I'm doing here, just quick bursts. You don't need to put much on. You don't get that much in the tin, but that's okay. I mean, I must have done 10 cars with this already, and there's still over half of it left. So for this kind of work, it's very worthwhile and quite good value, especially when you consider just how easy it is and the kind of shine you get. Now the wheels. These were that well. This is one sort of axle of the original wheels that I'd done, which is the fine. It's just I don't think they really suit this car. I'm going to put those wheels onto something else. These wheels that I've put on, they were made in exactly the same way. So I mean, I made them quite a long time ago, but they were made in just the same way. So I don't think I'm really cheating by just subbing them in now. They started out in life like the ones on this Mercedes, so I've kind of inverted the colour scheme, fitted the plumbing O-rings, filled the kind of gap between where the edge of the O-ring is and the original wheel. I kind of filled that in with modelling clay, just like I did for the original ones on this. I just think the design itself suits it better. So I'm going to do the rear light panel now. So I'm going to very heavily tint the rear lights just like they are on the real ones, because we are going for like a more of a realistic look on this one. So I started by doing the whole thing in silver, and part of that silver will be still visible at the end, because that'll be the reversing lights that are on the insides of it. And then put a bit of red on, and then when the red's dry, we're basically going to, a bit like the latest video that I've just done with the Hot Wheels Mercury Cyclone, where you kind of flood the grille with this semi-translucent grey, so that it doesn't quite look black. It will just look heavily tinted. You should still be able to just about see the red underneath. So it's a similar thing to that, but we're not quite irrigating it in the same way. You've got to be careful and make sure you colour within the lines on this one, and then be careful how far in you take it as well, because you want to leave the reversing lights. You want to leave some silver visible, because they'll be the reversing lights at the end of all this. So we're just doing the same thing on the other side, so again, it's just about being accurate. Just very careful with the cocktail stick. Just put a little bit on there, and then just expand it out. Just drag it out to the edges, but obviously don't go beyond the edges. Keep it all contained within what would have been the light clusters on the real thing. So I'm showing more or less the whole thing for putting the kind of layer of the smoke tint on. The red isn't obviously quite as critical, because with the whole car being red, it's not the end of the world if you went a little bit outside the lines. It's best not to still, because it's not quite the same red, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as noticeable as if you went outside the lines with this stuff. So it's important to see the whole thing, just so you can see exactly how you can sort of stretch it out a little bit. It did occur to me, oh yeah, if you want to keep using the same cocktail stick, just sand it down with a 600 grit sanding sheet. It did occur to me that I should have stuck it to something vertical like I did with the Mercury in the last video. So I did exactly that. Not a mango box, which, as I pointed out in the other video, is a very, very, very risky thing to do. I really am playing with fire at this point. I'm just referencing a slightly bizarre joke that I made in the last video. It's not being serious. It's done the same thing with the front end as well, the kind of grill sections. That's absolutely fine. The only thing on this casting though, I wanted to do the little sort of black nostril type, like on this one, with the little, I'm not sure if they're like marker lights or indicators that are just right on the insides of the nostrils, but there's space to do it on the Corgi one. There isn't really anywhere to do it on this. So given that this is so much like the Matchbox one, I'd say there probably isn't really anywhere to do it on the Matchbox one either. But never mind, you can't have everything. So we'll put the marker lights on at the sides anyway. It's normally you do amber at the front, red at the rear. I think I'm just going to put amber at both ends, because if I do red ones at the back, it's just going to be lost in with the red paint. It'll just look like I haven't done them. So we're just going to do both ends orange, I think, just so it stands out. It's a little bit of a shame about those little nostril grills that are just where the headlight covers are, but it's like I said, there's just nowhere to put them. You'd be literally having to just draw them on, and they'd just look ridiculous. I think it just looks better if you just don't do it. So that's it. They're both done. The purple one, yeah, I did go over the wheels again. I think the red one looks great on those now. I think they really suit it. I can't say they look like any wheels that were ever actually fitted onto these, but they could have. They do look right. They do look like the kind of things they might have put on it. But the purple one, I went over it again with a Malatel liquid chrome pen. They're probably about the best thing that I've ever come across for putting the factory chrome back onto Matchbox, and well, not just Matchbox. Anybody who has that kind of chrome on the original wheels, it's great for putting that back. So I just thought that was the last thing it needed, just to kind of finish it off. So there we are. They are both finally done. Both very different routes. One like a sort of, well, obviously not something that they did make in the factory, but it's supposed to look like something that they could have made in the factory. And then the other one, we've kind of customised it as much as well, I'm not saying as much as we can. There's always more you can do, but I think we can certainly say there's been some fairly credible steps taken to make it look a little bit more like a realistic representation of the real thing. As always, thanks for watching.